Today, Apple is the apple of the investment world's eye. As 113.5 million users logged onto iPhones in 2020, the tech giant logs yearly revenues above $275 billion and battles petroleum and gas giant Saudi Aramco for the largest market cap in the world. It's even the largest holding of Berkshire-Hathaway's portfolio. For a full look at Berkshire's current portfolio, watch our video in the description. Whether in first or second place of portfolios and market cap positions, Apple can say, "We are the tech champions of the world." However, as the Queen song says, it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. Apple navigated rough waters early on, and one of the toughest tests that almost turned the tide the wrong way was the Apple III. Today, I will discuss the computer's history and some reasons why it fell short of huge expectations. Before we discuss failure, let's go the other way. You can help our channel succeed by clicking the like button to help visibility and subscribing for great future business content. Now, watch on your much more advanced computer as I talk about the not so good old days. The Apple II was the item that originally propelled Apple to grand achievement in 1977 when it turned into the primary economically effective PC and proceeded to sell somewhere in the range of 5 and 6 million units when it stopped in 1993. In Hollywood, sequels typically perform better than the sequels. Sometimes the same holds true for corporations. Now, a big corporation, Apple hoped for another big blockbuster, or rather bitbuster. All it produced was a big bust. The Apple III project started in late 1978 under the management of Dr. Wendell Sander, with the internal code name Sarah, named after Sander's daughter. The specifications were defined by a committee of Apple engineers to be implemented by Sander. Apple wanted the III completed in 10 months, but because of extra features constantly being added by the committee of engineers, it took 2 years. The project was mainly started because Apple didn't believe its highly successful Apple II line would maintain its popularity. If only the company could see what was to come. The Apple III was the first Apple computer not designed by Steve Wozniak. Delivered in 1980, the Apple III was expected for use by organizations, highlighting extended console capacities and a bigger presentation. Steve Jobs allegedly needed the machine to run obtrusively, so he demanded that the Apple III would have no cooling fan or vents. Designers built the PC with an aluminum case to assist it with staying cool, yet the Apple III overheated in any case, now and then in any event, causing central processors and floppy plates, remember those, to soften inside. Prime supporter Steve Wozniak lamented that the Apple III had 100% equipment disappointments, constraining Apple to review and supplant every one of the initial 14,000 Apple IIIs delivered. Why did the Apple III fail so spectacularly, critically, and financially? Here are 5 reasons. Number 1. The hype about the research. During the release, a lot of talks ensued regarding the team making the Apple III justify the early release. The stacked but less recognizable team was headed by the aforementioned Dr. Wendell Sander. Under him, Jerry Manick and Dean Hovey, an industrial designer under contract, designed the infamous aluminum case of the Apple III. Again, a surprising fact is that the Apple III was not designed by Steve Wozniak, and Steve Jobs, along with the then CEO Michael Scott, proceeded over the Apple III. Number 2. The hype about the computer itself. There was much hype regarding the Apple III's launch, which was supposed to be a big step up from the outgoing Apple II. In many ways it was too, but so was the fanfare. Apple had rented Disneyland to showcase Apple's products, and it was the first business-oriented computer that departed from the traditional architecture of the Apple II. Apple III was also all over print media, and ads then were convincing enough to make one choose the computer. IBM too didn't offer a few features of the Apple III. This was also close to Apple's initial public offering when the share prices had taken off. Number 3. Unfavorable comparisons with other competitors. So proud was the engineering team at Apple that they couldn't believe the product would fail. Apple had even released press articles such as this to cement its product as the ideal business computer. This was a big deal when carefully comparing the product to the IBM personal computer or the HP 125 Model 10, the two closest competitors of Apple. Many such press articles were written, in which Apple didn't shy from highlighting their computer's features. It's surprising that given the considerable problems customers faced, Apple still managed to sell 65,000 to 75,000 units, although that number became somewhat disappointing. Number 4. Customer response suggestions. There were many problems faced by customers. Probably the most common was not having a heat channel, due to which the aluminum chassis got so hot the chips inside would dislodge from the board, which made random data appear on the screen. This also created melted discs inside. Now, Apple's suggestion to this was to pick the computer 3 inches above the surface and drop it, which will reset the interface. This was bizarre indeed, and no sane person would want to do this with their computer, which was already costing between $4,340 and $7,800, a 2021 range of over $13,500 to almost $25,000. This putrid pricing worked negatively for Apple in the next few years. Number 5. Memory board problems. According to electronics preservation website Apple Logic, that dedicates itself to legacy system remembrance, the Apple III was designed with a daughter board-based memory card that was mounted above the main board 2/3 down. It was mounted using 2.54mm Molex extended pin temporary connectors and was able to be removed and/or upgraded. This provided several advantages and also gave Apple the flexibility to sell the machine in several different memory configurations. Yet another common complaint of the Apple III was the claim that the memory board worked inconsistently. The reasons why the memory board failed were again associated with high temperatures inside Apple III's case, so high as to cause accelerated corrosion of the plated pins. The interconnectivity between the main board and the memory board would appear exceptional. Not only is there a very firm mating force required to mate and release the two parts, but the connectors made contact in 3 locations on each pin. There you have it, guys. Obviously, Apple sits at the top now, but it was a long road to get there, and the Apple III presented a speed bump. Hopefully, you like this video better than the public did with the Apple III. If so, please consider hitting the like button and smashing subscribe to never miss another video. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on learning daily, and remember, as Warren Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn.